Yes, guys, I'm Cy. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation for a special, a little video, a little live. Cy, apologise for being late. It's been a bit of a manic day. Only just got back from Carmarthen like 2 minutes ago. So we're going to go through 5 players instead of doing a pre-recorded video. Decided to do it as a little live because Roger Giggs' shows moved to Friday. So we thought we'd go through it live so you guys can tell me how wrong I am. Not going to be like a full show. Going to be like the video, sort of 20, 25 minutes. And we're going to discuss 5 players that we think Cardiff City should look at. So I have done a fair amount of research into this, and but also I didn't just want to go off stats. I wanted to have a look. So I was having a look at some clips of the players and stuff like that. A few players didn't make the list. Few players did. Some will agree, some will disagree. Such is life. So let's get way back into it. But before we get into it, I got to tell you something, right? 1st of December, Darren Purse is doing a live event with us, much like the Andy Campbell one. It's going to be a phenomenal night. If you haven't got your tickets, get them. They're all over my social media, stuff like that. Literally just a £5. What I can tell you is that on the 15th of December, something special is happening. It is going to be the day of all days. We are going to finish the year with a bang. It won't just be run-of-the-mill evening event, which is good enough. Let me tell you, there are some quality events for Cardiff City fans. The 15th of December will be a phenomenal way to finish the year. That's all I can tell you at the moment. But what I can tell you is, if you get tickets for Darren Purse, if you get tickets for the Darren Purse evening, you will get early access to the one on the 15th, even if you're not a member, if you've got tickets to the Darren Purse thing. And the one on the 15th will go super, super quick because of who it is, and such is life. Is so there we go. You might not be able to get nachos Lorna in the Roman Tavern, but you can get a selection of dirty fries, and they are stunning. But we move on. If you haven't got your tickets for Darren Purse night yet, I don't know what you're doing. You should have got them already. There's only a few left. £5 a ticket, and you get the bonus of being almost guaranteed, probably guaranteed, of getting tickets for the 15th. I nearly said the player's name then. That would have been naughty because I'm very bad at keeping secrets. Right. So first thing I'm going to say, a couple of players who nearly made the list but didn't. Turkish player 𝒂i𝐭y nearly made the list but did not. Who else didn't make the list? Trying to think now. That Wimbledon striker didn't make the list. I forget what his name is. What's his name? It's going to bug me, that is, and I'm going to have to look it up. Linked to the Cardiff. What was his name? Anyone know? That young Ali Al-Hamadi didn't make the list. He was probably the closest one to the list. But we go. We'll start from the left and we'll work away along our... Actually, we'll start on the right because I think, you know, there's one or two on there which I think everyone expects to be on the list. So first up on the list is Kieffer Moore. Cardiff need an experienced striker who's proven at the championship level, who's proven wants to come to Cardiff, as we know he did because he asked to come back. The only reason the move didn't come off in the summer was because Bournemouth's replacement fell through at the last minute. So I'd like to think now that we can go back in. He's not really playing for Bournemouth, as unfortunately, as shown in his performance for Wales the other day. He's not match sharp. He's not playing enough football. He needs to play. We know that when he plays in the championship, he scores goals. We know this because we've witnessed it at Cardiff and other clubs. We know that when it comes down to it, if he's fit and he's playing, he will definitely score goals. So let's have a look at golden shot creation for Kieffer Moore in the Championship. Yeah, he's look, his last stint in the Championship was with Cardiff, and the man's stats were pretty good, hence why he got his move away. But I also think the most important thing with Kieffer Moore is the manager seems to want him, but also when you look at the way Cardiff have played this season, Kieffer Moore is the perfect number 9 for how we play to get the best out of the likes of Josh Bowler, O'Dowda, Tanner, Ramsey, Colwell. They'll all be better from having a number 9 like, and Grant as well, a number 9 like Kieffer Moore, who can hold the ball up. He's decent on the deck, but he's also capable of finishing. So he's first on my list. I don't think that's a shock. I almost expect it, unless the manager is being very, very clever and is using that as a decoy, because he was pretty publicly talking about him today, which is sometimes an indicator that he's not interested in him, and he's using that media attention, and then they'll sign someone else completely out of the blue. Number 4 on the list, and I'm going to butcher this poor guy's name, Anastasios Bakasetas. He's a Turkish left-footed attacking midfielder, very experienced, 30 years old, currently plays for Trabzonspor. The club will have to do a bit of wheeling and dealing with this one, because I think he's probably out of our price range. And he also is, I think he's got like some time on his contract and stuff like that. But they've shown they can do that before. He's obviously, he is friendly with 𝒐𝒅𝒅𝒕𝒄𝒓, who's already there. I think the plan would be to link them two up, I would think. However, I also think that he could play in that Ramsey role if Ramsey's unavailable. In terms of like his experience, he's played 63 times for Greece. I think I said Turkish earlier. He's Greek, but he plays in the Turkish league. My mistake. He's represented them at all different levels. He's played 63 times for Greece. He scored 13 goals. But it's the apart from it's the work rate which really stands out with him. He's got a bit of an aggressive streak, which I think is ideal for the way we go about our business. But also he's very, very creates a lot of chances. Is in terms of chances created, he's right up there in the Turkish league. It's a no-brainer. If the club, the manager, they can all do like a little bit of a wheeling and dealing and whatnot. Jonathan Davis says, do you think Runarsson, 𝒂i𝐭y, and Panzo will go back to their parent clubs to free up loan spaces? I don't think Panzo goes back because I think we need the cover. 𝒂i�y, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back if we bring in Kieffer Moore, because you've got Kieffer Moore, you've got 𝒉𝒕𝒕𝒃𝒓, and a couple of others. So yeah, Runarsson was signed initially to be the number 1. So it seems like, would he be happy or will his loan club be happy with him just sitting on the bench? But unfortunately, he probably doesn't deserve a starting place at the moment because of the form of 𝒂i𝐭y. So it is what it is. But yeah, I suppose Runarsson and 𝒂i� would be the 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back. Or going back to Bakasetas, he's also, the Greek captain, very, very good at chance creating, very good at, he gets the odd goal, familiar with 𝒐𝒅𝒅𝒕𝒄𝒓, familiar with the manager, no-brainer, but I think it will take a little bit of wheeling and dealing. So we've got 3 players left on my list. I think that all 3 are fairly unrealistic for different reasons. So the first one I've got is Neco Williams. Welsh international. We're all very familiar with him and what he's good at. Isn't playing for Forest. I don't think Forest would sell him. So I think the best opportunity would be a loan spot. And I think that's where maybe you could free someone up if you send Panzo back and you bring in Neco Williams, maybe. Depends how much they want for him, I suppose. Like, if it was me, I ain't selling 22-year-old Neco Williams on the cheap. I can tell you that much. But I believe that there might be an opportunity to loan him, but because we've already got a Forest player on loan, you would have to send. I don't think you can have more than one on loan from the same club or something similar. Look, it's a no-brainer. If you could get Neco Williams, Cardiff been linked with him before a couple of years back on loan sign. Like, he is a player who, if there's any opportunity to sign him, you take it. So if you go to Forest and say we'd like Neco Williams, and they say, oh, he's available for 5 million, snap their hands off, get it done, job done. I don't think that's the case. If they say you can have him till the end of a season on loan, you say, right, okay, you have Panzo back, he's not playing, we'll have Neco Williams. Because I think he can play right side, he can play left side, he could probably play as a free, play on the wing. He is out of this list. He's a player I would make an exception for, with price, with wage, with everything. His age, everything about him, I would make an exception for him. I don't think we need to talk too much about Neco Williams, because I think it's obvious. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? It is what it is. Charlie Savage is next on the list. Now, this is unlikely for a different reason. So this is unlikely. He only went to Reading in summer. If reports are believed, it would be that he turned down Cardiff to do so. However, Charlie Savage is a very, very good footballer who, in amongst a dreadful Reading team who were rooted to the bottom of the league, who are terrible, Charlie Savage has been a shining light. I was speaking to a Reading fan, and they said, like, he's got about nearly 1,200 minutes on a pitch. He's got 2 goals. He's got an assist, and he's looking very, very good on the ball. Now, to me, I wouldn't take him on loan. I think the only way I would take him is if you can buy him. How much that costs and how much money Cardiff have got to spend is obviously the barrier with that. And he only went there in the summer, but they are rooted to the bottom of the league. So they might be looking the next year and thinking, right, do we need to get some money in? If he's available, I would get him. He's 20, loads of future ability. He's already performing at a level where he'd play games. And it adds something different to what 𝒉𝒂n𝒐 offer. I believe 𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒄 is injured as well, so could be another reason why you might need that additional central midfielder. Particularly, I think if 𝒐𝒏𝒄𝒄 was missing, we're going to really miss his versatility in his passing, being the ability to pass through the lines, the ability to pick it up deep, the ability to switch play with one pass. Charlie Savage does have that in his locker, and I think we're seeing that more and more. Reese says, here's a question. Sorry, we all know we want to sign players. Will we sell anyone that we didn't plan on losing? And will the fringe players go, i.e. Reno, Sawyers, 𝒂𝒂n𝒐 Campbell, etc.? Yeah, I think Reno, Sawyers, 𝒂𝒂n𝒐 Campbell probably go. I agree with Jonathan, or with Jonathan's question, in that I think there may be a lone player or two who may go back to allow some places. A Reno swap deal for Savage, says Jonathan. That is a great idea. Hasn't quite worked for Reno here. I do think he's got something there, and I think he could give Reading a lift in their battle to relegation, and we can get Savage in to contribute this season, but also for the future. I think Joe Ralls is not going to play forever. And I think Charlie Savage is the perfect replacement for someone like that. The final one on the list, I think I anticipate that some people will give me a bit of shit for this, but, we'll see. I believe Cardiff City should go to Birmingham City and say, how much do you want for Jordan James. And if they say, a couple of million, I think for a 19-year-old Welsh international who has shown that he has every bit the quality needed to play at a higher level, it's a no-brainer. Birmingham are skint. Rooney's got off to a terrible start. Jordan hasn't. He's only played 400 minutes this year. However, he's picked up a goal in those 400 minutes. There is one problem which I think makes this unlikely, and that is that since Wayne Rooney's come in, Jordan James has started to start games. So maybe Rooney fancies him. Again, like I've whittled down this list, and look, Cardiff don't have enough money to buy all 5 of these players. They don't. I'd love them to. And if they sign these 5 players, I believe we'd be looking at going for a title next year in the championship if we're still there. But it's unlikely. It's not going to happen that we're going to sign all 5. So you have to pick what you need the most. To me, if I had to pick 2, I would probably go with Kieffer Moore and Jordan James. I think only marginally, because Neco Williams, as good as he would, and as I would make an exception for him, the likelihood is he'd only be available on loan. So you've got to give him back in the summer. If we could sign Charlie Savage or Jordan James permanently, I think at 19 and 20, they both have the quality. Jordan James would be my preference out of the 2, but I think they both have the quality to go and really build a career at Cardiff City for the next 10 years and be top, maybe turn to top level footballers. I don't think Birmingham would ask exorbitant fee for Jordan James. I think they'd ask for a couple of million. And to me, I think if you can get a deal on the table for Birmingham for a couple of million for a Jordan James, I think that's well worth it. If you could bring in Kieffer Moore and Jordan James in January, I think that's an absolute blinding window. And then maybe get rid of a few people. Be absolutely ecstatic with those 2 signings. And if it does turn out that 𝒉𝒄𝒄 is out for a couple of games and you could slot Jordan James in there, be happy with that. Real happy. Them 2 together, very happy with that. Because Jordan James is aggressive and he's good. He can play that kind of deeper holding role, but he's also very, very good on the ball, and he can go box to box and he can play real aggressive football, and he can contribute further up the field with goals and assists and linking it all up. So for me, I think all 5 are no-brainers. Another one I saw just now in the chat, which got who was close to being on the list, was Cody Dramer from Leeds. My problem is, I think Leeds will have a look at Jordan James. I think Leeds will try and get Neco Williams. And that's when I think Cardiff have got to be clever. Use the fact. Get these Welsh boys playing in Wales. Use that. Try and get them in. I really believe that could be a pull for these players. They play at the Cardiff City Stadium for Wales. So why not play their club football there? It makes all the sense in the world. If you were asking me to rate these players in terms of most likely to least likely, I think I'd go Kieffer Moore most likely. I would go Bakasetas next. Jordan James, Charlie Savage, Neco Williams. I do think Neco Williams is unlikely at best, but I don't think it's impossible. So it's like a bit of a bit of this and a bit of that. I believe that it's very doable. I think all of them are doable. Or should I say, I think all of them would be doable in some fashion if we negotiated and we were competent in those negotiations. Now, history tells you that isn't always the case, but it's not, we haven't always been terrible in the transfer window. And even under, this board, we have had our moments. They are capable of pulling off deals. Look at Aaron Ramsey in the summer. Wasn't the easiest of deals to pull off. So they've got it in them, but I'd like to think that they're already working on them. And at the end of the day, the manager might not agree with me, and these would be the players he wants to look at. It might be that he would rather look closer to home, like 𝒂i�y is a phenomenal player, and he was very close to making my list. Like, it's kind of one of them where I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting Bakasetas and 𝒂i𭭏n𝐿, and we don't go in for Kieffer Moore. The way the manager discussed Kieffer Moore in public today makes me think, or makes me less confident than what I was before I heard him speaking, that Kieffer Moore is a real target. Because to me, managers don't speak about their targets publicly like that. About, like, you just don't, you know, how many times do you hear managers say, "Oh, I don't discuss players of other teams"? So to me, if he's been that blatant about it, either the deal's done and they've all sides are very confident that it's going to happen and it's just a signature, or he's bigging it up in the media so it gains traction, and then he's going to go and sign 𝒂i�n𝐿 or Bakasetas or whoever. Like, you know, there's many different ways to do it. It's interesting, right? I'll give you a couple of minutes to ask some questions. Don't ask me what's happening on the 15th because I can't give you any more information until probably later this week. But all I can say is the 15th is going to be massive, and all I can say is if you want to have the best opportunity to get tickets for the 15th, the most effective way to do so is to either sign up to be a member of patreon.com/𝐴spodcastnation for a couple of quid per month, or get a ticket for 𝒉𝒕𝒕𝒃𝒓, because otherwise there's no guarantees. No guarantees whatsoever. The 15th is going to be special. So as we wrap up this evening, because this has saved me a bit of time, and obviously we nearly got Bale with this board, but in fairness to the board, I think from what I gather and from what I've been told and from what I've read and all the rest of it, they came very close to getting Bale, and Jonathan Barnett, his agent, got in his ear and basically convinced him to go to America, when he, up to that point, he was pretty set on coming to Cardiff. And look, that's what agents are there for, to get the best deals for their players and their clubs and whatnot. It'll be interesting what Cardiff do in January, because, you know, you've got the likes of Isaac Davis on loan doing well. Ojo's doing all right on loan. Do you shift him? Do you shift some others? You've got Eli King doing well on loan. Do you bring those players back instead of to free up more money to buy a Kieffer Moore or a Neco Williams or a Jordan James, whoever it may be? Like, do you shift some players out? Wouldn't be surprised. And this is, yeah, like Jonathan makes a good point there. He says Bellew doesn't normally talk about signings, so we found it strange because he wouldn't talk about 𝒉𝒂 a day or two before he signed. Yeah, it was weird him talking about Kieffer Moore today. And like I said, that's made me less confident than I was 24 hours ago, because I know how close we were to signing him in the summer. So it's going to be really interesting, the January window. But it does make me think that he's going to end up signing someone else completely out of the blue. And he's going to use it a bit of a smokescreen. Look, the one I really, if we could get Jordan James, I'd be so ecstatically happy. And if you can get rid of the likes of Vontae Campbell, Rinomhota, Sawyers, Ojo, send Ugbo back, maybe send Runarsson back. But then if you send Runarsson back, you've got to get a keeper in anyway. So, because I think you need an experienced number two. I think it's unfair to stick a youngster in there. In these big, like, championship games are so hard and so difficult. It does feel unfair to stick like a young kid in there and just go, there you go, mate. Have your chance. It's a lot, especially for that position where it's so specialized. Like, it's just a lot for a keeper. But who knows? Who the devil knows? Do you agree? Do you disagree with my list? My list of 5 players Cardiff should look at. Is there anyone on that list you don't think we should look at? let me know in the comments. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Roger Gigs on Football is at 9 o'clock. At 8 o'clock. Either at 9 o'clock straight after, or at 7 o'clock just before. I'll drop a Cardiff City preview for the Preston game. It might end up being live again because I've got so much to do in the next 3 weeks. It's unreal, absolutely unreal. Danny Ward, oh mate, I would love to see Danny Ward down here. Let's just have let's just get a load of Welsh players down here. Be nice, refreshing. But Danny Ward would be a good shout, mate. Jonathan, I think it was, who said that. Sign Danny Ward. He's not getting any, he's third choice at Leicester. You're right, mate. He's not really doing anything there, so he may as well come and sit on the bench here until he gets a chance. Why the devil not? That's what I say. Why the devil not? Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate your patience because I was a bit late. And look, I normally do these, these kind of videos with pre-recorded and some graphics and stuff. But, little short live here and there doesn't do any harm, I don't think. Roger Gigs and Football tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Get your 𝒂i𝒂n𝒃𝒓 tickets if you haven't got them already. They're only a £5. There's only a few left. And if you do get them, you get guaranteed early access to whatever may be happening on the 15th. But what I can tell you is the 15th is going to be a humdinger of a day for Cardiff City fans. Take care. God bless. See you tomorrow. Be good. And if you can't be good,